Now, one interesting thing, there was a post here on subreddit called anti-work. State capitalism is just capitalism. There is so much of this nonsensical shit that's on Reddit or just in general, sort of in the Western, well, media sometimes, or like not media, but like in Reddit or in Twitter specifically sometimes, where people hate so much capitalism and things like that. So few notable little pieces of gems in my view anyway. So corrupt billionaires are in fact the problem. I don't even remember what was exactly here, but if corrupt billionaires are running the government, then it's still the billionaires that's the big problem, isn't it? Um, that's so, like, this particular line is so brain dead that I don't understand how it can how it can um, solidify into an actual thought that person types and presses enter, to send. If corrupt billionaires are running the government, then it's still the billionaires that's the big problem, isn't it? No, it is not. It is the government that's the problem. And if the government is corrupt, it is the problem of the government and by extension of like the people of that nation where they have the corrupt government, because the government in a general like good world, sort of ideal world, must serve the people. It is the governmental officials who were elected to represent the people. So one would guess and one would think that those governmental officials, should have really high moral values, so they would not become corrupted. So nobody could corrupt them. And so, in fact, it is not billionaires if they, in fact, like especially like in America, lobbying, which is basically fucking bribery, legalized bribery, is allowed. It is not those people who play sort of the game. It's not them who are corrupt. It is the government who is corrupt. It is the government, because it is the government that decides the legal framework within which everybody else operates. And so, if the government continues to allow the bribery, legalized bribery, then it is the government that is the problem, not the billionaires. I don't understand how thick skulled so many people are and why it is so hard to understand that little fucking distinction. But apparently it is, because, again, this is very specific to, because we're on anti-work subreddit. And yet I don't understand how people can be so fucking thick and don't understand that calling anyone who makes a living off of owning things is a parasite, the capital class. Owning things isn't a job and doesn't provide any value to society. Therefore, they have to take value generated from the class of people who do generate value, the working class. And yeah, there's some moron who thinks that he's figured it all out. Um, that's basically like this particular sort of way of thinking is a way of thinking of a person who's never created anything themselves. This is a way of thinking of people who do not have anything of value, do not even imagine themselves having anything of value, and do not understand that this particular thing is will basically bite them in the ass if they will actually try to enact by living in a world where this is the reality, that like living off of things is being a parasite. So, for example, here's a dude, so he wrote something, right? Like if say I go and I steal his post, or maybe even better, maybe he wrote a book and this is just an excerpt, and I live off of his world view. I think that living off of owning things, and if you wrote a book, you own it. This is your book, this is your copyright, it belongs to you. But I would be thinking like he thinks. No, you know what? I like your book. I think see some value in it. So I'm gonna take it because you don't care. You don't want to be living off of things that you've created. I'm gonna be taking this and I'm gonna be putting my name on it, and I'm gonna be saying that this is my book, and indeed. So you've done all the work, but I'm getting the rewards. That is the end point of this logic. If you do not own things, if the society, if the government, the judicial system does not protect your ability to own things, it is basically anarchy. It is free for all. Because you have a good phone and I don't have a good phone. I don't care about your right of owning things because you don't want to own them apparently. And some might say like, okay, this is talking about like living off of things. Well, yeah, you might have a car and you might like rent it to somebody else. You might have whatever. It might be your generational wealth of like you bought some land and now you've grown like a garden there with like olive trees or whatever, and then you're selling them. You're basically living off of things, living off of your land, living off of things that you do. Somebody else's parents, somebody else's family never got to that point, never maybe thought about owning things and trying to living off of not just the manual labor, but some second abstraction, like the layer above it. Create something that would provide additional value and living off of that value. Like I'm saying, writing a book, making freaking music, even thinking about things like that. Creating some software that people use, creating some physical products that people use. You are living off of not your manual labor, but the things that you've created with your mind. And these people don't understand this, and it just pisses me off so much because people live in the West, people live like in United States or wherever, and they are so fucking thick, they're so brain dead that I really feel like they don't deserve to live there. I mean, I understand it's like a stupid concept to even say that, but they don't really, because they don't appreciate whatsoever. They don't appreciate whatsoever what they've got. And you notice that they don't go to Venezuela or Russia or some shit place, North Korea, where you can actually live off of this dream that you don't own anything and there is no fucking capitalism, and yeah, just come here. Everything is fine. You notice that they don't do this. They just speak the fucking shit on Reddit and think that they're amazing. They get their fucking 1,000 upvotes, and this is even worse. That people like that are getting thousands of upvotes. So that's I guess this is what sort of bothers me even more. That, or not bothers me. I don't care about this like no name fucking low level pieces of garbage. It's just that it upsets me that people like that exist and they are in the thousands, judging by the amount of upvotes anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of bring this to attention because I wanted to talk about it for a long time, and yeah, just the fact that there's almost 10,000 people who found that the corrupt billionaires are in fact the problem, instead of actually seeing where the problem lays. It is the government and the corruption within the government. They're misplacing the blame and just saying, "Oh, billionaires bad," which is pathetic, which is really despicable, and if anything else, it's just brain dead. And I just wanted to point out this particular thing because I've noticed this quite a long time already ago, and yeah, only now sort of speaking about it. Okay.